So you come out of Special Forces. How long was you in Special Forces for?
6 years. So I did 11 years total, so I was 5 years in the Royal Marines and then 6 years in the Special Forces. But to be quite honest, I was like, and I say this in my books, it didn't do it for me. You know what I mean? And I wanted more of it. I was in around the time where there wasn't the Iraq war. Well, there wasn't Iraq, there wasn't Afghanistan. So for me, there wasn't enough of it. There was, we'd have bits and bobs here and there, and that was just the norm. But for me, I wanted to be at the coalface every day. That's what I thought was missing. But I knew there was something missing. There was something missing that I didn't feel complete. And for someone that, if I could have looked at that as a kid before I even joined, I'd be like, that'd be everything for me. And a lot of people do think that. Joining the Special Forces would be everything. If I could do that, that would tick every box and I would be totally happy. I'd never want to leave. But I got there and it wasn't like that. There was something missing.
Well, do you think that stems from having an unfulfilled appetite for success or wanting more?
No, I know exactly what it is. But, this is from hindsight. Hindsight never won any wars, but it gives you a good reflection. And for me, this is where people get it so wrong. We are all chasing an image. You know what I mean? I was chasing an image of a Special Forces soldier and how that would look, and I was forgetting the one fundamental thing that is so far more important than that, and that's a feeling. It should be the feeling you're chasing, not the image. People want the perfect house, the perfect job, all this, that, and the other, the perfect marriage, or whatever it is. But that's an image in your head. It doesn't mean that when you get there, you're going to feel that same passion for it. We all know, everyone knows that a lot of the time you have this visualization of how something might be, whether that's going out for the night, going to your favorite club or whatever, and it's always totally different when you get there. You know what I mean? So if you get too attached to the image of what you want, you're going to end up being disappointed when you get there. But for me, I hadn't found my purpose at that point. And I didn't know anything about purpose at that point. I didn't go, I haven't found my purpose. It's just something that wasn't connecting. And for me, something was missing. And I didn't know what it was. And I thought I was having mental health problems. I thought, there's something wrong with you. If you can't enjoy this, what you're doing, jumping out of planes at night, which is, parachuting through the sky in the dark, skydiving, and, all these things I was doing was amazing. Why wasn't I enjoying that?
So then your chase for that next thing carried on. So then you went into, was it private military or?
Yeah, but that's the thing, I mean, when I came out, I wanted to do something totally different. I've always wanted my own business, and I've always wanted to create my own path, and it's something I still do to this day. Because we're so trained, I don't want to follow someone's footsteps. I want to create footprints. I mean, that's with everything I do. So, it was about redefining myself, recreating something new. So for me, it was about learning about business and this, that, and the other. And I thought that would be the security industry. So I started my own things. I started my own security company, and providing people for VIP security and stuff in London. And then the Iraq war kicked off. And then for me, although I said I'd never go and do that, the money was phenomenal. I look back now, it's still like a phenomenal. I was being paid £13,000 a month tax-free back in 2003. I mean, that is just ridiculous. And especially after coming off a military wage. But the thing is, you get drawn to the money. It was all about the money. For me, it's money, money, money. I was driven by money because my complete lack of it all my life. Even the military, you don't get paid enough. And for me, I've got an expensive taste, so the military was never going to be good enough for me. But for me, it was about chasing the money. And, as soon as the Iraq opportunity came up, then, well, it pays loads. You know what I mean? That was the drive. And now, looking back now, I call that fool's gold, because you're a fool for chasing the dollar. And, I can go into that later, but, when you get to Iraq and you get to a war zone, you understand why they pay you so much money. But yeah, that was the draw. I then went out I left everything back. I left my son, I left my wife, which, that marriage was just falling apart at the seams anyway, so it was a natural thing for me to accept, to go over to Iraq. It was a shame that my son became a byproduct of that decision, but I live with that. But yeah, I went over to Iraq, and that's where I then set up shop, if you want to call it that. And we were working for major infrastructure projects, so we put the first GSM mobile network back into Iraq. And we were running these big projects. We turned up with a small infrastructure of ex-Special Forces, Only a few of us, and before long we'd recruited an army of 2,000 Iraqis, and we were training them in bodyguard skills, weapon skills, and we got them to do all the work for us, basically. They were a local face on the ground, and that's how we conducted operations, and it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant.